Hi, this is Vicky, also known as Dragonfly7673, and you're watching DragonflySoars. Today is Friday, April 22nd, and it is just past 5:30, and I have really been struggling this week. I didn't record on Tuesday because I was feeling a little overwhelmed. Actually, I got back from Knittopia. I went to Knittopia last weekend. And I took Monday off, and I was partially thinking of recording, and then I was like, no, I took Monday off because I wanted a totally kind of down day. I haven't had a lot of those. And then I kind of hit this point. As a podcaster, there's two instances that really stress me out. I don't know if it bothers other podcasters, but either not having done enough, where you feel like, for whatever reason, work, exercise, school, being sick, you just feel like you haven't made any progress to show anyone. And yet you also haven't done anything interesting to share either. Or having so much going on that when you want to share it, it just feels like it's going to be overwhelming. I don't know how to get through this all. So, while I have told you that I'm doing cross stitch, and I have no intention of separating out a knitting podcast and a floss tube podcast, or even generally labeling them as such, this week I am putting off the majority of the cross stitch. I actually have several things to show, and I decided this week I will concentrate on knitting. I will tell you about Knittopia. I have spinning to show you. And then I will show you an update on my pumpkin passport, but then I'll save all the cross-stitching stuff for the next podcast when I probably won't have as much knitting to show. So I figured then it evens out, and then I have enough content for both. I've been doing this for 5 years, and I used to be really, really regular. Now, when I was at Knittopia, some people ask, well, what day do you go? And I'm like, when I get to it. And I feel kind of bad saying that. And for a while, I was kind of feeling like this was another job. And I have a job. I have a big job that's keeping me very, very busy. And I've thought actually about saying I'm done. But I remembered the reason I started this was not to be a podcast. I started this to basically share information with Mom, Tiff, a couple of my friends who wanted to know what I was working on. It was just a way to, kind of keep track of things in progress and share. It was different from doing a written blog. And if I think of it that way, as this is just letting my friends know what I'm up to, I'm still alive, I'm good. And there are several of you that I truly consider friends that I want to update. Well, then doing it when I can feels okay. So, all right. I'm going to show you knitting progress first. I don't know how the lighting's going to be today. If I turn on the overhead, it's going to be a little weird because there's enough sun outside, but the sun kind of keeps ducking in and out. So it is what it is. All right. This is my yarn from Passion Flower Etsy shop from Roz, also known as Kaner on Ravelry. So this is the gumball machine. I don't remember the base anymore. It's a DK weight that I ordered that I was just in love with. And I started the single row scarf. I think that's what it's called. Maybe it's a single skein scarf. I don't remember anymore. It will be linked in the show notes. Anyway, the last time you saw it, I was down here at this doohickey. So I've actually made well over a foot of progress on the scarf. It actually goes pretty fast if I'm not thinking about it. If I'm thinking about it, if this is the only thing I'm doing, it's a little boring. If I am doing this while talking to a friend or listening to a conference call, it goes pretty fast because it's it's easy. And then the next thing I know, I've made a chunk. So, but I will say I love, love, love how the colors are coming out. So I think it was a very good pattern for this. All right, let me post a picture. I'm also drinking out of my new Tervis cup. I hear so many people talking about them. And I actually, I was looking for some good drinking glasses for us because the regular tumblers we have a tendency, well, I have a tendency to drop them and break the straw, break the cap, whatever. And they don't necessarily stay cold all the time. And I heard a lot of good things about the Tervises. So I got one for me, one for best friend. His has a Darth Vader face across it. So I don't want to set it there. He was pretty happy when he opened it because he was having it happened that the day it arrived in the, the shipment arrived, he was having kind of a crap day. And I don't even remember why. But I told him to, I'm like, open the box. And then he was pretty happy. So, all right, next item. Twitchy socks. To anybody that is new, and I do know there's a couple people watching now because of the cross stitch. So if you're new to this, and I'm sorry if you were expecting more cross stitch, I'm doing more knitting this week. But Twitchy socks are socks I generally just take with me, like to waiting rooms and to movies, because I don't sit still very well. And ages ago, best friend, one day we were going to the movies and he asked if I had my socks ready to go because otherwise I get twitchy in the movies. And then they just henceforth became known as the Twitchy socks. So the first one, I believe I showed you this last time, is totally done except for I need to put a heel in. But I did start the second one, and I started it on Monday because I was home after going to Knittopia and I took a day off. And but that evening we were going to go see Raiders of the Lost Ark because Marcus Theaters is showing the first 3 Indiana Jones movies. So this past week it was Raiders of the Lost Ark, and next week it's Temple of Doom, and I can never remember what the third one is called. It's the one with Sean Connery. Anyway, that one will play the next week. So we're planning on going to all 3. So because it's fun to see them on the big screen, and they're only $5. But since I was home on Monday, I started the toe, and then I knit some in the movie theater. I had a question. I saw a question on the what do you want me to share thread, and I will cover it in more detail, but it was from Par62. Not today, but I will cover it. But she was asking how I can knit in the movie theater. Well, I just want to point out that I was in an 1.5-hour movie, and I only got like that much done. We're not, I hear Jasmine from the Knitmer Girls, at one point I listened to her, and she was talking about that she gets, a couple inches done during a movie. I do not. Now, granted, I have a pretty dense stitch count, but I knit much slower in the movies because I'm concentrating on feeling the stitches, and therefore, because I can't see them, I'm concentrating on feeling them. I go slower and more careful because if you drop a stitch in the dark, you pretty much just have to put it away, and then you don't get to knit the rest of the movie. Speaking of the what do you want me to share thread, it pretty much kind of fell by the wayside, but I saw somebody post it and I was like, I should do that again. So I will start picking that back up. Let me post a picture of the socks. All right, now while I was at Knittopia, the big thing I was working on was the Brickless. And the Brickless is being knit with a gradient yarn from Knit Circus that goes from a light turquoise blue to a deeper turquoise blue, and then into a pink, into a darker pink, and then all the way into a light pink. This is my needle minder. The the big thing at Knittopia was that I really wanted to get into the pink. And it started to become something that like everybody was watching for me to get into the pink. So because the blue actually went on for a really long time. Way longer than I thought it was going to. I thought I was going to be in the pink around here. And I actually had, I thought in this section, well, somewhere in here, I thought I'd be going into the pink, and it wasn't. It was up a little higher. But anyway, I'm clearly in the pink now. But these rows are getting longer. So it'll still be enough knitting, but there actually won't be a lot of length in the pink, I believe. I don't know. That blue just kept going and going and going. Everybody was laughing at me because I couldn't believe it. And then after a while I would get irritated with it, so I'd set it down. Well, of course, then it didn't make any progress. So, all right, let me post that. All right, final knitting thing. I blocked my unique sheep shawl. So this was the Wrinkle in Time Mystery. I love how it opened up. So you can really see the sections. Unfortunately, no matter what I do, I can't get this to photograph the right color, because if I can get the blue anywhere close, then the rest comes out a really weird color. If I get the rest close, then the blue is really wrong. But it's still beautiful. You can see all the beads in the center portion. I let the edges stay in their ruffle, so I blocked it out at this level so that would be straight, and then I let the ends do whatever they wanted to do, because I actually like the little ruffle, and really there was no point in trying to stretch them out. You'd almost have to make them into points, and I didn't want them into points. But let me show pictures of that. All right, so I also spun, but I do not have that with me. I had made that shawl cowl thing from Josh Ricks of Geometrix Design. That was back in December. And because it was a bright color and it was fun, I had set it aside to be for my swap partner for Knittopia, which now if she or anybody else from Knittopia watches this, that they will know the ugly secret. I did not block it right away. So then when I was preparing and packing and stuff before going to Knittopia, I had put it to soak so I could block it. I completely forgot about it and did not realize it until the next morning. And by that point, it had been sitting in the water for at least 12 hours. And unfortunately, the dye ran big time. I was almost in tears. I was sitting here in my craft room on the floor. Best friend's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like showing him, and he's like, "Oh." Which, you know, I mean, he cares about my projects and he is observant, but you know, when he can't even fake it, that it's bad. I sent a picture to Heather, to Nandy, who I haven't talked to in days, and I'm really sorry, and to Tiff. And I'm like, I kept hoping that it really wasn't that bad, and both of them kind of went, "It's that bad." The blue had run into the white section and into the pink section, but not evenly, and because it was sitting for so long, it was like it had been sitting in a dye bath. There was no running it through a color catcher. There was no let's rinse it out. It was ruined. And I still needed a swap gift, and quickly. So this all ended up working out in the end. Later, when I saw Mom, I took that to her, and she is over dyeing it for me. Actually, she already has, and it's a really deep, dark purple. I will show you guys at a future time when I actually have it. I don't have it yet. And I spun a skein of yarn for my swap partner. And so I will show you the yarn. It was a bat from Into the World, Superwash BFL. And it came out to a bulky, mostly because I was trying to make sure that I got it done. I did not want that lingering. I did not want to have to worry about the fact that I just totally, you know, bombed out. But there you go. So I think the yarn came out very nice. My swap partner seemed to like it. Honestly, when I got there, looking at some of the other swap gifts, the shawl scarf would have been more involved than most of the other ones, and the hand spun skein was about right. She liked her other goodies too. So I think it was all good in the end, and Mom says that the other shawl looks good, so it'll probably just become mine now, because I actually wasn't going to wear it in the original colors, but in the new color I kind of like it. So and I will show you guys after I have the shawl from her. I will show you guys the before and after pictures. So right now I could show you the before, and I have some after from her, but I want to have it in hand. So, but my skein of yarn came out great. And that was the first time I've been spinning in a while. And it was kind of nice. I was stressed out, and it was kind of nice to just, you know, treadle. Spinning is relaxing for me, and it's not something I do all the time. All right. Final item of mine that I'm working on. I think. Yes. Pumpkin Passport. Now, I realize this is cross-stitch, but I told you I'd give you an update. April is essentially done. I need to finish the banner up here and the banners down here, but everything else is done. I did a mod, which I think is funny because my mod is incredibly simple compared to some of the things that everybody else does. But the hat, for one thing, the pom-pom on the hat was the same pink as the scooter, and I didn't really like that color together for that, and it was just solid red, and I decided that it should be like more like a slouchy stocking cap, so I just added some black back stitching and added a black pom-pom, and I really like the way it came out. So I will share a picture of that too. I'm actually going to post this on the April finish board, because even though the banner's not done, I don't care. The picture's done. So here you go. And I do have to say, I love my bag from So Much to Love. I had originally gotten these scrapbook cases, and that's what I was going to carry all my stuff in. But it's got just enough of a wedge here that I keep my here, I'll open it back up. I have my little tin with my goodies, fits in here easy. My thread card, which looks like a tangled mess. It is. And my rings, my ring of floss, but everything just sits in there. And I have this one and the one for the Disney one just kind of slit in underneath our end table, and I just pull it out and I have everything I need. And I like it much better than the scrapbook boxes, which means I don't know what I'm going to do with all the 3 scrapbook boxes. But that's fine. But I really like that bag. So, all right. Everything from here on out will be, I was going to say it will all be Knittopia, but actually I have a couple things I want to show you that aren't related to either. I got this necklace from Terralay Designs. I think that's how you pronounce it. I saw this on the Knit Girls, and actually I thought immediately that it would be great for Tiff's birthday. And because it's kind of thread and crafty, but it wasn't more yarn. And so at the same time, I ordered one for me. So this is the one that I ordered for myself, and I have not worn it yet. It's still on the card. It says, the work you see is handmade entirely with threads. I am the sole creator of this work and have developed the method of artistic exploration evolution. Every piece begins with an acrylic tile that I cut and bevel. The thread is then wrapped tightly around the tile, one thread at a time, perpendicular or parallel layers, and knotted in the back. The appearance is of a complex woven pattern, which it is, because depending on where the overs and unders happen. And that's the back. It has the appearance of a complex woven pattern, although it is all done with a well-planned layering process. Every knot and edge is sealed to ensure the sustainability against the weather and regular use. It is best to keep it out of the pool, shower, or other extreme wet conditions. To clean it, use a compressed can of air, and I hope you greatly enjoy it. So, it is from Adam Stair of Terralay Designs. So, and I didn't want to show you before because I wanted to also tell you that I was getting one for Tiff, which she now has. Her birthday's not until the 26th, but most of her birthday stuff from Mom and I got to her yesterday, so she got to see it. And then I got a surprise in the mail. Angie, who is Crouching Cheese, this just came today. She had asked if she could have my address, and she sent this very cute card that on the back says created by Angie, so I am assuming she made the card. And I love on the dinosaur these little raised spots. So it just says thank you. And on the inside, it was just a very nice thank you note saying thank you for doing the podcast. And that felt nice. I know that we don't have a huge following, but the people we have are very loyal, very sweet. And actually, I also realized that maybe I don't even know, because every now and then somebody will actually comment that they've been watching for years and I've never seen them on Ravelry or anything. So I would have no way of knowing. She made these bookmarks. She's in the note, she said she colored and laminated them herself. And I like it because this one, even though it's obviously artistic, reminds me of Tigger Tiger a little bit. And this one has dragonflies. And I do actually read real books now and then, not just my Kindle. So I like these. Although right now the real book I'm reading is Archie comics. While I was coming back from Knittopia, I stopped at Kmart, mostly because I really had to go to the bathroom, and they were convenient, and I needed allergy medicine. So I was like, okay, I'll stop at Kmart, go to the bathroom, get my allergy medicine. And as I was checking out, I saw a big double digest of Archie comics, and I was like, oh, Archie, and I bought it. All right. Now, from everything here on out is Knittopia related. I am not going to show you every single thing from Knittopia. And I'm going to say right now, I don't have a lot of pictures from Knittopia. I believe I have one of our pom-pom curtain. And that may honestly be the only picture I have. So, one of the days, we were yarn bombing the cabin, and somebody said they wanted to make a pom-pom curtain, similar to a beaded curtain from the 60s, but with pom-poms. And then she had to go to the store, and so a bunch of us just stayed back and just kept making pom-poms. And I now can use the big pom-pom maker fairly successfully. And then she hung them so that they went right by the stairs. So every time you went upstairs, you had to go through the pom-pom curtain. I think I have a picture of that. I'm going to pause and attempt to put a picture of that in here. All right. While at Knittopia, you get a goodie bag, but also throughout your time there, Tina, who is a blooming knitter, she used to do the Knitting Blooms podcast. However, she has been extremely busy, so she has not done one in a while. I hope she picks it up again at some point, because I really miss seeing her face. Anyway, she does little games, and she'll either all of a sudden tell everybody, okay, get in line, and she'll all of a sudden, the next thing you know, you're getting a free pattern, or you're being told, okay, pick a number out of this jar, and then you're picking a prize on a table. So throughout the time, there's stuff going on. She doesn't do it all at once. And I'm not going to show you everything from the goodie bag, but there was a few key things I wanted to show you. At one point, when she did her, draw a number, I pulled number 21, and I ended up with this skein of yarn. It is Blue Sky Alpaca Extra. So it is, it's a bulky, 150 grams, 218 yards. And this is a very light sky blue. She did the same thing at a later point, and magically I again picked number 21, and magically number 21 happened to be Blue Sky Alpaca Extra in a gray color. Now with one of these, and I don't remember which one now, I got a pattern for this cowl from Coco Knits, and I think it would be great for one skein of this, but now that I have two skeins, I have to decide if I want to do a project that will actually be a two skein project, or do, two single projects. I have not even given it much thought yet. Let me pause for just a second. All right. Sorry, I forgot to tell best friend that I was going to record tonight, and so he was texting. He stayed home, and I was at work today, so everything we've done today has been via text or messenger. All right. Like I said, I'm not going to show you everything, but this was another one, and this is from a company called Yaar Nia. And it's interesting because when you go on the website, now we just got these. We just were told there was like 5 stacks of cones, and we were told get in line and pick one of the top ones. So of the 5 that were there, you could pick from the top. And they were all different. But the company, you pick your colors, and they actually come in. These are actually threads. They're almost like my embroidery floss. And then they join it for you, and it becomes a yarn. This one is 355 yards of a sport weight, approximately 4 ounces. I'm okay. I like the color. It was the one I picked from the top, but I will have to knit with it because right now it doesn't feel like yarn to me. It's pretty, and maybe when it knits up it'll be fine. And part of it is I almost want to stick it through my wheel and spin it a little bit, and just twist it up because it's flat. But while you're knitting, that may take care of itself. But I thought it was an interesting concept. So when you go on the website, you kind of pick the colors you want and the proportion, I think. It's been a long time since I looked. And then they will send you a cone. Some of them had were much thicker than what I got. Now, kind of a funny thing, I had not thought about it, but Cassandra came up to me and said, I have your swap present from last year. I had totally forgotten because I didn't go last year and it was so last minute. The swaps were already arranged and I sent my swap present to my recipient. That was that Tunisian scarf out of the yarn I had made from Switzerland. And she actually, that was Susie, and she actually brought it to the retreat so that other people could see it because, of course, I had mailed it to her after the fact, which I thought was kind of cool. But Cassandra had been the person who was supposed to mail the swap present to me, and because when I didn't go last year, I actually decided that I was just going to move in with best friend. I mean, I literally just basically started packing the car. And she knew I was in the process of moving, and for a while I didn't even know what my address was because we have weird addresses here. And it just got forgotten about. Like, so forgotten about that I didn't even remember, and I sort of felt like I was staring at her blankly for a minute before I realized what she was talking about. So she gave me a goodie bag that had some chocolates and stuff. And we were laughing because she said anything that was like treat based, she got new ones because we weren't really sure what was going to keep. But she got me she made me a dishcloth, which actually is already in the kitchen. And she got me this yarn. It's from Never Enough Time, but it's time like the spice. And it's called The Island of Misfits. And she just thought that I like quirky things. I'm kind of quirky. And she thought that fit. Plus it's kind of red, white, and blue, which is my birthday's July 4th. So it's actually red, white, blue with pinks and purples in there where things mix. But so she said she just thought of me when she saw it. And then this year, my swap partner had actually asked the swap coordinator, to find out what size feet I had. And I had answered the question and then jokingly written back, oh, I bet I'm getting a scarf. And so she said that she was actually tempted to make me a scarf. But what she actually made me were these garter stitch slippers. They're very simple, but they're very comfy. And I actually wore them the rest of the retreat. So they're very cute. And she also had in the swap bag a skein of Malabrigo Rios in the Indicida, I think, colorway. It's kind of blues and greens. And I did not take pictures of anything from the retreat. So I won't be posting pictures at the end of these. And we also got magazines and coupon codes and all sorts of things, but I am not sharing any of that. I only have one more thing that I wanted to share. Kimber, who is also known as Sock Bunny, was actually at the retreat, and she was the dyer for the retreat colorway. So it's called Lakeshore, because that's where we are. And it's a fingering weight, superwash merino, nylon, and stellina. I don't know if you'll be able to see the sparkle at all. But at one point, Tina asked people to stand up, and she gave everybody a pattern, and then she said, open the pattern, and 2 of them are marked with something special. Well, I had one of the ones marked, the something special was a post-it that had a little star on it, but it was a something special. And so we got a kit of the same colors as singles. Now this is an undyed bear, and then the turquoise, the blue, and the chartreuse. They're the same colors that are in here. Now, what I really want to do, I think, is make some sort of sweater with it, because together there's, well, each one is 438 yards, and I have 5 of them. So there's well over 2,000 yards here. Now, what was really frustrating me at the retreat is there was basically no data. I could get regular text through sometimes. And every now and then you'd be able to get to a really simple page, but you were not getting to the Ravelry search pages at all. Even going like outside toward the road, it just wasn't happening. And I really, really, really wanted to look up patterns for this. It was driving me crazy. But I think I saw two that I really liked the look of. I even bought them. But then when I actually was reading through the patterns, they were kind of confusing. And it could be just because I'm stressed and that's throwing me off. But I have them. So I'm not sure when I'll start it because, well, I just don't know. But anyway. So those are all the things I wanted to show you from Knittopia. Knittopia itself was fun. We yarn bombed. The first day, last time I went, I got up early because I was trying to beat the Chicago traffic in the morning. So I left the house at like 4 in the morning. And this time I was like, you know what? Life is too rough. There is no reason I need to be there super early. I am just going to, I'll sleep in and I'll leave when I leave. And that actually wasn't too bad a plan. I did my last little bit of packing, and then I was looking for my glasses and realized that the earpiece was bent. Now they're plastic, but they have a metal piece there. And I tried to bend it back as much as I was going to feel comfortable trying, and no. So I had to actually wait for lens crafters to open before I could even leave the area. And then I was kind of like, well, that's okay, fine. I'll just leave later. And at one point when I was trying, like I knew the first part of my trip. And then I had stopped, you know, for gas, coffee, etc. And I decided to check the map. And all of a sudden I realized that I was going to get there later than I was thinking, which wouldn't have been a problem except for I had part of the ingredients for dinner. And I was actually going to affect dinner. So I didn't get there until about 6:30. I felt bad, but there was nothing to do about it. So I parked, I came in with the food, and I immediately, you know, washed my hands and started helping to prep. And it was probably an hour and a half to 2 hours before I actually went to my car and got everything else, because we prepped dinner, we served dinner, we ate dinner, and then I went and got my stuff. So it was a little bit of a rush. And then Friday, we were doing fun stuff, and we were doing games and things. And I will admit, I was really enjoying the company of the people right around me. And that was nice, but I wasn't totally relaxing. I was still wound up from work stuff and just in general. Saturday, I finally relaxed and was like actually having fun. like I was like, wow, I'm having fun. You know, not just, yeah, this is good, which is a little how I felt on Friday. And, but on Saturday I was really having fun. And then Sunday I had to leave early. And so I could have used like 1 or 2 more days, but that's the way it goes. And you can actually extend and do a second leg. So you can do, there's first weekend, second weekend, or the time in between. The time in between goes Sunday to Thursday, I think. But that's almost too long for me, especially with missing work. I really just wanted like Sunday and then to leave on Monday. That would have been okay. But anyway, but then I had the long drive back, and Monday I took off, and I was actually really glad I did. So it was good. And I think that's all. Like I said, I have cross-stitch stuff. I have haul. I have a story about the Disney thing. But I will share it next time so that this doesn't get incredibly long, and then I don't, and like I said, it'll balance out. I normally will not be splitting, you know, I will not normally be splitting, but it just makes sense this trip. So, To the people from Knittopia, Barb, Adelia, Harper, everyone else, I want to say hello and thank you. It was a good trip. And then, oh yeah, Angela came. Angela apparently had bought, I don't have them handy. She brought last year dragonfly lights, a string of them. So they were going to decorate my chair. Well, I wasn't there, so they brought them this year. So I decorated my chair this year with my dragonfly lights. That was cool. I know I'm obviously forgetting people because there was Lolly and Evie and Kelly and Tina and Colleen and Susie and Phyllis and Lisa and Cassandra and Jeanette and Sheila, and now I'm gonna forget like one or two people, and I'm gonna feel horrible. Kimberly, now I'm trying to picture in my head. Debbie, oh my God, Debbie. Debbie surprised me when I first got there. She handed me a bag and said, "I'm really hoping you didn't donate yet." She made 2 shawls for the Threads of Compassion for me to take to honor my dad and donate back. Thank you, Debbie. I'm like mentally going around the room. Michelle, Diane. Diane's really fun. I think I got everybody. If I forgot you, I'm really, really sorry. Okay. I'm going to just stop now. I will see you guys all next time. Bye.